Hey everybody, welcome to the Get Fit Guys quick and dirty tips to get moving and shape up. My name is Brock Armstrong and I am the Get Fit Guy. You've probably heard the word metabolism, especially as it relates to things like weight loss and weight gain. But what is your metabolism? What does it do? And do you have any control over it? Well, today I'm going to explain all of that. Scientifically speaking, metabolism is a term that describes all the chemical reactions involved in, being a living organism. And while it's true that metabolism is linked to your body weight, a slow metabolism is rarely the root cause of excessive weight gain. While there are health conditions that do slow the metabolism, such as Cushing's syndrome or an underactive thyroid gland, also called hypothyroidism, these cases are quite rare. So, while it may be tempting to blame your metabolism for your weight gain, it's a natural process, and your body has many mechanisms that regulate it to meet your individual needs. Most often, when we talk about metabolism, we are actually talking about what is known as our basal metabolic rate, or BMR. And our BMR is better defined as the average amount of calories we expend while simply living our best lives. The most accurate way to find your basal metabolic rate is to have it measured in a lab, but you can also calculate an approximation of your metabolic rate using an online calculator that I'll link to in the show notes for this episode, or you can use the Harris-Benedict equation. And I'm not going to try and describe this equation in this podcast. You're going to have to go over to quickanddirtytips.com/getfitguy and look for episode 424, all about metabolism. Now, once you've figured out that crazy equation, you have your approximate BMR. And from there, you can find your total metabolic rate. But as I will explain shortly, your total metabolism, or your metabolic rate, is actually a combination of your BMR and other myriad metabolic processes. So let's look at what actually affects your metabolism. Your metabolism is mostly affected by what your body, specifically your muscles, are doing at rest, not just the small percentage of the day when you're exercising. And for the most part, it's our muscles' resting metabolism that makes up the greatest portion of BMR. Now, metabolism is also the process by which the body converts food into energy. During this biochemical process, the calories in our food are combined with oxygen to set free the energy that we need to stay alive. Even when we're asleep, our bodies need this energy to do things like, breathe, circulate blood, regulate hormone levels, and grow and repair. The amount of energy our body uses to carry out these functions contributes to our basal metabolic rate. When you exercise, play a sport, or otherwise raise your heart rate, your metabolism is temporarily affected, but it is the metabolic activity of your muscle mass at rest that defines it. So, if you want to have the healthiest amount of muscle mass in proportion to your skeletal mass, which, yes, is my fancy way of avoiding the term BMI, you need to focus on increasing the activity of the electrical channels in your muscle system. And what is the best way to do that, you might ask? Well, it's not a scientifically devised workout that I will sell you for $59.99. It is, in fact, moving your body more often. Yep. The factor which messes with our body's health the most is the growing amount of time that we spend having nearly zero electricity flowing through our muscles. Passive tissues are doing nothing for your metabolism or your physical well-being. Active tissues is kickstarting your metabolism and your health. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. The hours you spend sitting at your desk or slouched on the couch cannot be erased or negated with 30 or even 90 minutes of dedicated exercise. Now, just to be clear, passive is sitting in your car on the way to work. Active is pedaling your bike or walking to work. Passive is sitting or even standing still at your desk. Active is pacing around your office. And finally, passive is, well, writing this podcast on my laptop, and active is gesticulating wildly while I narrate this into the microphone. Get it? All right, good. Now, let's talk about how you increase your muscles' metabolism. First, let's start by actively lengthening those muscles. Having too much tension in your muscles, also called hypertonicity, means that they're not as metabolically active as they could be. The more metabolically active muscles would be both long, strong, and force-generating. So yes, this means you need to stretch your muscles, but it also means that you need to use your muscles in a full range of motion. And that means squatting all the way down to the ground to pick up that errant pen, or stretching your body to its limits while lifting the heavy bag of flour on the top shelf of your pantry. It will also come as no surprise to you that the more active you are, the more energy or calories you burn. In fact, some people who appear to have or claim to have a fast metabolism may simply be more active throughout their day, doing things like standing and walking and even fidgeting. Any extra movement helps increase that electrical activity in the muscles, as I mentioned earlier. So look for simple ways to move around more and more each day. For example, and you've probably heard these before, but they are worth repeating. You can park farther from the store entrance. You can take the stairs instead of the elevator. You can get up out of your chair for a couple of minutes every hour. And activities like taking care of kids, gardening, or even housework also create electrical activity in the muscles and boost your metabolism. And strength training, not just lifting weights, is also a great way to add more metabolically active tissue to your body. And this becomes even more important as we get older. And that's because it helps counteract the muscle loss that's associated with aging. Now, I'm not going to dwell on this, but there are some metabolism boosting supplements out there, and you gotta beware of products that claim to speed up your metabolism because, well, they're generally overhyped. Supplementing with things like hot chili peppers, minerals, or antioxidants may provide a small boost in your metabolism, but it's not a significant enough boost to actually make a difference in your weight. Now, here are a few supplements that make some big claims but yield minimal results. The first one is capsaicin, and capsaicin is the chemical that, well, puts the jala in jalapeno, and it is said that capsaicin can boost your metabolism, but a review of 20 research studies found that capsaicin only increased the number of calories burned by a measly 50 calories per day. And spend a few minutes walking up some stairs and you've got that beat. The next one is chromium, and chromium is a mineral that your body actually uses in small amounts, and it's said to help raise metabolism. But a study reported in the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine found that chromium supplements actually had no effect on weight loss. The next one is conjugated linoleic acid, or CLA, which has some pretty mixed results. A review of studies published in the European Journal of Nutrition found that CLA may help with modest weight and fat loss, but the effects were small and uncertain. And finally, resveratrol was found to burn fat in rats, but the Annals of the New York Academy of Sciences found that there is not enough evidence to support its use in humans as of yet. Now, it's important to keep in mind that dietary supplement manufacturers, especially in the USA, are not required by the Food and Drug Administration to prove that their products are effective before they're sold. So I think it's best to view these products with some caution and also some skepticism. Okay, now it is quick and dirty tip time. Here are a few ways that you can slow down your metabolic rate. A few of these I borrowed from my friend Monica Reinagel, the nutrition diva, from her article called Is Your Metabolism to Blame? And I'll link to that in the show notes along with everything else. And the first factor is losing weight. The fact is that the smaller your body, the fewer calories it takes to keep it moving. And sadly, this effect is amplified if you have lost weight quickly. And the next factor is living in a caloric deficit. This can also slow down your metabolic rate because restricting calories for more than a few days at a time will affect your metabolism. In fact, researchers at the National Institute of Health discovered that people with certain physiologies lose less weight, especially when on a calorie-restricted diet. And the next factor that can slow down your metabolic rate is losing muscle. Muscle tissue is more metabolically active than other tissues in the body, such as bone and fat. So, if you lose muscle, your metabolism will be affected. You can lose a significant amount of muscle if you lose weight too quickly. So you will have a double whammy on your metabolic rate. And sadly, the next thing that can slow down your metabolic rate is aging. We all tend to lose muscle tissue as we get older, but physically inactive people can lose as much as 3 to 5% of their muscle mass each decade after the age of 30. So make sure you stay active. And the final factor that can slow down your metabolism is a low thyroid function. If your thyroid gland is not producing enough thyroid hormone, your metabolism can slow down. Now, conversely, if your thyroid is producing too much hormone, your metabolism can go through the roof. But before you get excited, hyperthyroidism is a serious condition. It is not a great weight loss strategy. Okay? All right, now let's talk about the factors that can support a healthy metabolism. And the first one you probably can guess is daily movement. Moving more during the day and increasing your overall daily movement is a great way to boost your metabolism. Simple day-to-day tasks such as climbing the stairs, carrying your groceries, or simply walking more require your body to work harder and to burn more calories. And that leads nicely into the next factor that supports a healthy metabolism, and that is exercise. Muscle tissue is metabolically active. Moving those muscles makes them more metabolically active. The more active, the better. Need I say more? And the next factor is build some muscle. Like I said, muscle uses more calories than fat. So strengthening your muscles will make you into a more metabolically active machine, even when you are at rest. And the next factor that can support a healthy metabolism is to eat more protein. Protein takes a little more effort from the body to digest than fat or carbohydrate. So increasing the amount of protein in your diet can help you rev the metabolism. Plus, it helps you put on and maintain that muscle mass we just talked about. And the next factor is make sure you eat enough calories. Too many calories can cause you to gain weight, sure, but eating too few calories can cause your metabolism to slow down. Finding that right balance will support your metabolism without increasing your waist size. And finally, the last factor in maintaining a healthy metabolism is not eating many small meals during the day. You have likely heard this myth that eating 5 or 6 small meals during the day can boost your metabolism. Well, unfortunately, there is no scientific evidence for this claim. And you can check out the Nutrition Divas article called Metabolism Myths for more information about that. Now, ultimately, your metabolism can and will change slightly day to day on its own, but you can help your metabolism stay healthy by using all of these tips that I covered in this podcast. Get Fit Guy is written, narrated, and produced by me, Brock Armstrong, with some heavy lifting editorial support from Beata Santora. Our sprinting social community manager is Morgan Ratner, and our endurance advertising manager is Michelle Margulis. And of course, we can't forget our head coach at Macmillan Audio, Kathy Doyle. Now, if you enjoyed this podcast, please consider leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. It's been a while since I had a new review over there. I'd love to see a new one pop up. And you can join me on Facebook and Twitter as GetFitGuy, and of course at brockarmstrong.com. Now, what are you waiting for? Get out there and get some electricity into those muscles.